Number 177 in the Radiance range is Tête, contre, murs. A film from 1959 directed by Georges Franju. It's a French drama also known as Head Against the Wall. It stars Jean-Pierre Mocky and it is wonderful. One of those films that really crept up on me, was really unexpected and had an absolutely incredible story that's really pertinent today, I would say. The film follows Francois Guérin, played by Jean-Pierre Mocky, a young man whose behaviour is seen as reckless and unstable and uncontrollable by his wealthy father. And after a confrontation, Francois is committed to a psychiatric institution, and that is when the film starts to become unsettling, because from that point on, the central question isn't whether Francois is sane or insane. The question is, who has the power to define that? Is it his fathers, the doctors, the institution, society, or Francois himself? And that's what makes the film really powerful. It's not a simple story of a man being locked away because he's misunderstood, and it's not a simple medical drama either. It sits in a far more uncomfortable place where Francois can be impulsive, difficult, and self-destructive, but the institution around him can still feel cold and oppressive and terrifying. And I think Mocky is terrific in this role of Francois.
Pourquoi m'as-tu fait ça? Tu n'en sais rien. J'ai longtemps cru que tu tiendrais de moi, non, tout le portrait de ta mère. La violence, la cruauté, la mauvaise foi. Tu es un fou, comme elle.
He has this restless energy and he doesn't play him like a victim. Francois is frustrating because he almost seems to enjoy provoking the authority, and that's what makes the performance really interesting. If he were completely innocent and passive, the film would be much easier. He'd be much more sympathetic, but instead, Mocky plays him difficult enough to understand that people might not know what to do with him, but he's vulnerable enough in this imprisonment to still feel as though he's been deeply wronged.
Salut le nouveau. T'es pas malade, toi?
Non.
Planqué? Si tu sors.
He's a young man fighting against walls he can't see until they really close round about him. And once he's inside that institution, that rebellious energy starts to look much more fragile. I can't praise this film highly enough, and one of the strongest ideas about it is the father's power and the authority that he holds over his son. Francois is in his mid-20s. He's a man. He enters the institution through some nefarious purpose. You don't really understand how he gets there. He's pushed there reluctantly through his father's money and wealth and authority of the medical practitioners, and that makes the film feel kind of sharp and duplicitous a little bit, because it isn't just about illness, it's about convenience. It's convenient for the father for Francois to be away, and that idea is horrifying in all kinds of fronts, because the father doesn't like the way his son is shaping his life. He wants him to conform to his idea of it, and because Francois doesn't conform, let's put him in an institution and try and break him down and build him back up.
Malgré mon navrement de faire votre connaissance dans de pareilles circonstances, vous me voyez ravi d'avoir un commensal enfin de qualité. Adrien, mettez à couvert de plus.
And the institution, it's not presented like a horror movie asylum, and I think that's what's more unnerving about it. Some doctors seem humane. There are routines, there are conversations, there are parents on different spectrums of suffering throughout the film as well. But the building still feels like a trap. The gates and the rooms and the rules and the quiet hierarchy that's always there, all of it creates a terrible sense that once you are there, your voice becomes less important and you're now part of that system.
On m'accuse d'être détraqué. On n'absout pas les fous puisqu'on ne les punit pas. Simplement, on les élimine.
Georges Franju's directorial debut here is incredibly restrained. He has this level of control that makes it all the more powerful. He doesn't try for the big flashy set pieces. He doesn't try to make this overly poetic or cinematic. He has this way of making ordinary spaces feel haunted by systems rather than ghosts. The film isn't flamboyant all the time, but it has this quiet, severe beauty about it. The way he lingers in faces, the way he frames a shot within a room. The institutions can feel very symbolic at time. And I love the way that he kind of just controls this film. Very quick film, but very, very impactful. For me, Tête, contre le murs is about the violence of definition. Once someone has a label on them, how do they escape that? And it seems very simple to label, but extremely complicated to break that label once it's there. Once Francois is placed within this institution, everything about him is filtered through that context. He is labelled as that. His anger, it's a symptom. His fear, another symptom. His refusal, a symptom. Everything that he does is clarified as a symptom of his perceived illness or label.
Diplôme?
Je n'y suis pas resté. Ça ne m'intéressait pas d'apprendre de vieilles méthodes.
En somme, instabilité.
It feels as if he just can't fight against that, and you can understand the futility of that fight. I love the moral ambiguity that's here. The film doesn't make Francois easy. I like that. It doesn't flatter the doctors or the monsters. It doesn't turn the story into a simple melodrama. A difficult young man is placed within an institution. Maybe he needs help. Maybe he needs understanding. But does he need to be locked away? Is the big question. For me, I enjoyed everything about this film. I can see someone looking at it and going, it's not fast moving. It's more psychological than plot driven. If you're expecting more horror imagery like Franju's later film Eyes Without a Face, you're not going to get this here. But the film works, and it works incredibly well once you know what it's trying to do and once you're drawn into the story. Quick, impactful, wonderful. Of course, this is a Radiance Blu-ray. They've got some interesting extras here, so let's dive into the disc and have a look. Here we are in the disc for La Tête contre le murs. Let's go to the special features. First up, we have Jean-Pierre Mocky. Jean-Pierre Mocky discusses his early and intense involvement in the project for La Tête contre le murs, contemporary attitudes towards the topic of the film, and its enduring legacy. Originally recorded for Pathé in 2008, and this runs for exactly 10 minutes, and it's great to have his opinion on the film looking back on it 50 years after it had been released. Next we have Georges Franju and Charles Aznavour. Known at the time for his extremely violent short films, director Georges Franju talks about his debut feature La Tête contre le murs. He evokes his work with singer Charles Aznavour, also interviewed, originally broadcast on French television in September 1958. And this runs for 11 minutes 40 seconds, and it almost feels like you're eavesdropping into a private conversation, just the way it's shot and the way the conversation flows, and it's got a real unique flavour to it. Next we have Eric Leroy. Eric Leroy, head of collections at the CNC and former assistant to Jean-Pierre Mocky, discusses the shattered authorship of La Tête contre le murs between director Georges Franju and Jean-Pierre Mocky, screenwriter and star. Originally recorded for ESC editions in 2023, and this runs for 26 minutes and 1 second, and it is another fascinating insight into this film, looking at aspects of the story, how it was something so unique and something that was almost deemed unfilmable at the time, and how it broke the mould for these kind of films. Excellent. Also included in this set is a 28-page booklet where we have one main article, La Tête contre le murs by Raymond Durgan, and this is from 1967. It's talking all about the film, looking at it, how it really kind of breaks conventions, how it was something really special. It's a little bit of a looking back at it and the impact that the film had. That's the extras for La Tête, contre le murs. So there we have it. La Tête, contre le murs is powerful, it's restrained, and it is quietly disturbing. It's an excellent discovery from Radiance. I really enjoyed this film a hell of a lot, from the performances to the story to the themes to the direction that's there, to the quick run time and how it just leaves you thinking about what's going on. And the way I drew parallels after the film into a real world environment was something that was still fitting for me, and made me think about some other ideas that's going on in the world just now. Yeah, great. I would love to know your thoughts on this film. Let me know in the comment box below whether you loved it, hated it, fell somewhere in the middle. What did you think of the story, the thematics? Did it hit you as hard as it hit me? As always, there is more content up here. You can see more of my stuff. In the description box below are links to Patreon, membership program, and manvfilm.com, always in which you can support me. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.